then it's gone. Okay, anyway, I would encourage you to go back and look at the agile principles, agile mindset, and so on, right? I think we talked about working software, right? It values the working software. While it may not want to just strictly follow only the contract and so on, there are kind of is and is not. We value or prioritize this over the others and so on. Okay, it values the working software. It values customer interaction and involvement and acceptance. It values try to avoid huge documentation if not necessary, right? Minimum documentation only, and iteration, and so on, right? So these are the principles of agile that we need to, yes, customer centric. Thank you, Son. We need to focus on, but anyway, Scrum is one of the agile methodology that is kind of popular, widely used in many of the software development projects, and also not only software development projects. Now agile has been adopted not for software project, but any types of project. When you have to work in a team, you can actually apply the principles, the methodology, the techniques of agile as well. No need to just strict to software development. Okay, how does it work? Let's look at what is called a Scrum here. Okay. First, there are several of people involved in Scrum, in the team, in the project. Let's say that there are people involving in the project, and they are on different roles. Okay. The first role we call product owner, Scrum Master, and then the team member. Okay. So let's see who are they. Here is product owner. Sometimes we just call PO. Okay, product owner. The team means you. If we relate to the project we are going to work now, the team means you and your team members. Okay. And then, okay, sorry, I cannot have a Scrum Master for you, but among the team, from learning and doing, okay, you may need to perhaps iterate or learn about the role of Scrum Master a little bit. Okay, and these are all people, PO, Scrum Master, and the team, yourself. PO you will have, right? As I already mentioned, they are people who know. What is the PO? This is the person responsible for the business value of the project and for deciding what work to do and in which order, and actually to work on the product backlog. Actually, PO or product owner should be part of the team, a very active role, part of your Scrum team. But I assign another person, so you do not assign the work to the person, okay? You may need to assist the PO in terms of making the product backlog and achieving the value of your project. Okay, usually PO is the one who pushed the project to be the working system, usable system, the one that finally this project will be really used and useful. Okay, that is the product owner. Anyway, the next person, Scrum Master, actually part of the team too. But as I said, I cannot give every team a Scrum Master. So I will hope each of you in the team will play this role and master yourself the role. Is the person who must know, must have Scrum knowledge. in terms of the activities, the protocols, the way to do and to motivate the team a little bit too. Okay. So if the person ensures the team is productive, facilitates all the activities, we call actually ceremony, facilitate all the ceremony in the whole project. The ceremony, we will talk about it, includes daily scrum, okay, and also this scrum master will enable close cooperation across all roles, functions, remove barrier, making sure that we have effective and productive team. But keep in mind as well that there is no leader. In Agile, the so-called thing is that there's no boss, no leader, no project leader or something, team leader or team lead, no. Even Scrum Master is not a leader in the sense that he is in a higher hierarchy that has some role to say something or approve something. He is actually the facilitator role most of the time. And he should keep himself in that facilitator role too. Okay. And the last role is the team. Okay, actually this team, Scrum team or development team could be a team of, even you don't do the development, as I said, it's not about software and system. It could be team to do everything as part of the project work. And usually in Scrum and Agile, the team member, he or she, I mean, the whole team itself is a kind of, we call cross-functional team. Meaning that every person can do everything, every types of activities within the project. And the very key concept of Agile is based on what is called self-organizing team. That is why we say there's no leader to say you do this, you do that. System design, why don't you make a database design? Why don't you design a UI? That is a leader, right? In many projects, there'll be someone say things like this. Maybe the way to say is softer than I pretended, but intentionally, the goal is to assign someone doing something, okay? But in Scrum and Agile, the concept is on self-organizing, meaning that you know the goal of the project. Everyone knows. Everyone wants to achieve the goal as same as the others would do. As I always said, it's like if you play football, you want to win, right? You do everything to win, not because, oh, you're supposed to, I mean, you help everyone, right? When you're in the sport team, even you are in some role, you are in the front, in the back, you are the goalkeeper, but you prevent people, even you're not the goalkeeper, but you prevent people to make a goal, right? And then you will push yourself and support the team to win the match and so on, and to make a goal by yourself, your team. Even you are on some role, specific role, but you do the best. The same self-organizing team means that you will organize yourself to put the effort, your best effort for the success of the project. Okay. Okay. And okay, let's come back. Now we have the role. 3 groups of roles. And then I will talk about some terminology. Okay. Product backlog. A single list of features, or actually this kind of things to do. A list of things that you must do. okay, as part of the project. But usually if we talk about software, they are features, right? Because you want the software to do the login, to do the payment, to do patient appointment, to allow the teleconsultation, to do the follow-up of the medical treatment, and so on. These are the features. So you have a list of all possible features as part of your project, as in the what we call product backlog. It's just a list of things you have to do. But mostly if it is software, it is features of your software. Okay. And how do we prioritize? When you have a list of things, think about yourself. Dr. Shutipan assigned you a lot of work. Professor Matthew, Professor Dung, Professor Vachrapan, you have a backlog of things you have to do, right? Then you need to do some prioritization. Which one should be done first, second, third, and so on. How do we prioritize your backlog? It will be based on we call business value. If I would say we're talking about D-Health. D-Health need to do appointment. First and foremost, log in. Appointment, then giving teleconsult that doctor and patient can talk. Then follow up, then maybe payment, then medicine prescription, and so on. Prioritize them. Which one should be accomplished first, second, third? What is the key value? What are the optional or can be completed later? Something like that. You need to prioritize. Based on business value, actually who can define the business value? Who? PO. Developer team, sorry. Usually it's the case. You want to get involved in everything, right? And define, I want to do this first. Usually if you are a developer, you have your preference or something you feel fun, or sometimes we do things because this is easy. Let's do this first. Am I correct? Yes. But that easy thing or things you want to do first, is it the real value, as the most value thing that the product owner and the customer value or not? No, sorry, right? Okay, so talk to the P. So that is why here, I said here, the product, that is why I said here, why the product owner is the one maintaining product backlog, because it's the list of things that must do. The product owner knows the best. It's the prioritized list. Product owner knows the best what is most important. Developer, even you like this function the most, but please do it the least, the last, something like that, okay? This is the most important thing product owner wants to happen first. Such as if I am the D-Health PO. Of course, login and so on, user authentication, this is important because nowadays with the data privacy and then even things related to health, we need to be sure this is done properly. And it can be easy because we can reuse many of the existing authentication modules and so on. After the authentication, which is done perfectly, making even without appointment, okay, we do the appointment even manually by telephone or something, that is fine. But the thing that makes the health work is teleconsultation between doctor and patient. If this one you cannot make it work, you throw away your D-Health, right? You have everything, perfect login, perfect appointment, perfect this and perfect that, but you cannot make teleconsultation happen. Your D-Health is just nothing. So we know what is the most valuable feature. The product owner knows the best and has to prioritize what is to be done first. Even in terms of testing, sometimes you are not sure about the technology. You may need the test or experimental period. That is fine. That could be part of the backlog too. Experiment with some technology. Maybe try with this technology 1, 2, 3. You put in the backlog. Test with technology A, test this feature with technology B and C. This is work to be done and put in the backlog. Because back to here. Here, then we start from here. You can see that what happened? I cannot, okay. The works of the Scrum starts from here. The product owner make a prioritized list of what is required to be done, including the features of the software to develop, bugs to fix. If you know that there are some issues of the software that you already deliver, launch, sometimes again with some keyword, right? We are talking about iteration. As I said, time box. We're talking about continuous delivery too. You are supposed to deliver the core modules of a working software, and maybe you can add more and more. This is the way it works now, right? Not wait until everything is done 100%, right? You can deliver 20%, but working, not a bug, not full of bugs, right? Working well, 20% of your module and launch it, right? Your very first software may not need to do 100%. If it has only log in, make appointment, do teleconsultation, done, launch it, right? Something no need to be complete. Main stuff first, then make continuous delivery to the users. That is also part of the agile principles, okay? Okay, so product owner starts the Scrum, of course. The Scrum start from having the prioritized list of works to be done in the product backlog. When things already deliver, later on you may come across with bugs. Okay, that could be part of the backlog too. Everything that the team has to do, put in the backlog. How tiny, how small it is, put it in. Because at the end, Scrum will allow you to measure the productivity of the team. You want to feel good, right? Oh, you have done a lot. If you don't record your tiny things, you only record some major things sometimes, you will not be recognized of some work. Okay. Anyway, then this is a list that can keep growing. Because at the beginning, the very first time you make a list with the PO for your project, work with the PO, but you work the product backlog, okay? But consult the PO that which one is to be in the first priority and so on, okay? But please do the work of the product backlog by yourself, by your team. It will keep growing. The first time you may get very small list, And now you will know more. Then in terms, next thing to happen is what we call sprint planning. The very beginning of every sprint, I said iteration of 2 weeks, okay, for our project. Okay, for our project, it will be just 2 weeks. Then every beginning, you do the planning. Planning means you plan that within these 2 weeks, what will be accomplished. Back to the ballpoint. Your sprint planning is the 1 minute, 15 seconds. You do the planning that how you will throw the ball. And finally, how many balls you think you can complete throwing, right? That is the same thing of the sprint planning. You do at the beginning. So what do? Select starting at top as much as it can commit to deliver by the end of sprint. If these lists are already prioritized, then you know that you just choose the very top from the list, right, of the backlog. And consider the whole team. Consider the capacity, right, of the team. How many of the list you think you can complete within 2 weeks by the whole team? Okay, then these can be, don't worry, the very first time you make an estimation of the ball, how far was it to the reality? I remember several teams still said 15, and then at the end you did 30 or something, right? Sometimes you overestimated, sometimes you underestimated. That is fine for the very beginning to tune a little bit. But then if you select too many, you will have not finished product backlog, sprint backlog. We call it sprint backlog here. So you make a sprint backlog. But this sprint backlog, if sometimes you finish soon, you can get more later on. But it's best that to make it the best estimate at the later sprint. So now you start with a sprint backlog. And then you will keep your sprints working with your time box. Our case will be 2. Okay. In the 2-week sprint, your focus is just this. Okay. No need to worry here. Just here. Then within the sprint, we call sprint because then you need to sprint. What does it mean when we do sprint? You do it at your own full speed, right? If you do like your relaxed speed, that is not called sprint, right? You know how to make a sprint running. So the time is short. Go and finish soon. Not doing like feeling relaxed and calm. Okay. So in each day within the sprint, we do have a ceremony which is called daily stand-up meeting. We call daily because it used to be done every day. What do? We will talk about that, but it's kind of daily meeting. Sometimes we call daily meeting, sometimes we call stand-up meeting. Everyone in the Scrum team will meet and say, what did you do yesterday? What will you do today? And what are obstacles you think you will have? From the yesterday, what obstacle you have that prevent you to achieve what you aim to achieve as well. Okay. Anyway, these are the just quick thing. Quick, we call daily stand-up meeting, and original practice, everyone stand. Why? Why do we need to have a stand-up meeting? Why when I have a meeting with you, I request you to stand? Suppose. Can you stand up, please? Come on, stand now, please. Okay, thank you. And don't say good morning, teacher. How are you today or something? This is very usual things we do in class in Thailand, in the secondary and primary student level. When you sit and stand, do you feel the same? Which one gives you more active? Standing? We don't want a passive team worker. First thing, start of the day, you are now making a planning of what you plan to do. If you start your day with a very passive, lazy mode, I think that is not a very good start of the day. The very first thing. Second, if I ask, how long is the class? 1 hour and 30 minutes. If I keep 1 hour or 30 minutes class, while you have to stand with me, right? Do you like it? You may want it shorter, right? You will feel like your class should be just 10 minutes. You want to rush me to finish my class sooner. So the same, when you have a stand-up meeting, you will not want a long meeting. What is wrong with a long meeting? People will lose interest. First, it lose interest. Second, anything else with a long meeting? Have you had a meeting with friends? Group project maybe? And when it comes very long, what happened? You waste of time. You feel the waste of time. Yeah, when it is long, it's a waste of time. If you meet 5 people, 1 hour is actually 5 hours of productivity. You don't time yourself only, right? We are timing the time of everyone because everyone makes productivity to the project. Okay, what else could come along with a long meeting? We can go out of scope. Yes, thank you. What else do you think that could be a problem that we want to solve? Okay, these are good enough. We don't want to waste the time. We want a short meeting. We want to give ourselves a focus on just the planning of the day. The key of the planning is just what are you going to do? What did you do yesterday? And what are the problems you think you may have or you already have? And then other people will be aware of your situation and help you solve the problem or support you to accomplish your plan. And actually, knowing that what are other people doing, do you think it's good? When you're working in a team and you don't know what are your friends in the team doing, and when things are not according to what you expect, you might feel they don't work. We keep working alone, right? I think that is the very bad team feeling. So you can sit now. Thank you. Okay, but then that is it. Okay. So we will have daily stand-up meeting and it should be short. Just the focus of the daily plan. And the idea is the beginning of the day so that you have your whole day plan for the team and you let the team know that today I will be working on this, and you kind of promise, commit to the team, which is good, right? So everything you learn, please use it in your teamwork and even use it beyond our ISDM project. No harm. It's a very good practice that is used everywhere in the modern companies now. Okay, so this is called 24-hour sprint because it's your own sprint of 24 hours. And then once you have done this iteration for 2 weeks, right? Daily you do it, and then you keep doing the same thing for 2 weeks. Then at the end, when 2 weeks time is finished, you're supposed to have some so-called finished work. We should have the one meeting we call sprint review. We should have one meeting we call sprint retrospective among the team, among Scrum Master, PO, and team. Okay, all this. Sprint finished work is to deliver demonstrated to product owner and real users if we can engage them. And it is, we said customer involvement, right? We promote customer involvement. So invite customer to review the finished work. So they don't need to wait 6 months to see your finished work. Every 2 months, every end of sprint, you have something showing them. If they are not happy with something, they give comments. You can go and fix in the next round and so on. Okay. Daily stand-up meeting. We will talk about that. Okay. So we already talked about product backlog, sprint backlog, right? For the period of sprint, you need a backlog. We will talk about burn down and burn up later on. Okay. Actually, there are user story, which is actually similar, but in different ways. Better to understand and more user-friendly compared to use case. Remember, we learned about a use case. It looks very official working, but actually it's very good. Use case diagram is still useful and you still need to make it. User story is more of a shorter description of a feature of a product. Okay. And it is customer friendly, user friendly way to understand the feature of a system. We will talk about that. Acceptance test is a test performed by customer to verify whether the delivered story, the delivered feature is implemented correctly and in the way the user is happy to use or not. None of the work is considered complete in Agile if user acceptance is not there. You cannot claim that, oh, I test everything perfectly by the developer team. If user is not involved, it's just your claim. Sorry. You need to really get user acceptance for each single thing you deliver. So the value, okay, we talk about that. Story point and estimate. This is kind of to estimate how hard the work is. Each feature you have here in the product backlog, in the sprint backlog, for example, some are small, some are big, some are easy, some are difficult. Such as I already said, log in and log out to the system, teleconsultation, making appointments, making payments. Each of these are features, but they are not at different complexity. They are not in the same complexity, or some is easier, some is more difficult, right? This is to be estimated through story point and then effort point. There will be also effort point, the same effort point. How hard or how much effort you need to put to make it happen. So that means some feature may take 5 days to complete. Some features may take half day. Some features may take just 1 hour or something. Could happen, right? So every feature from everything in the backlog could have different story or effort point. Okay, I think this is already explained, right? The planning of the sprint planning, which is a meeting with the whole team to select a work from the product backlog to be delivered during one sprint. So what are to be included? Okay, what we think as a team can complete within one sprint. Okay, daily scrum, daily stand-up meeting, we already mentioned. Short meeting for the development team to share the progress of yesterday, the challenge we found, and the plan for just the day. Very short, just one day. Sprint review at the end of the sprint after 2 weeks. That is why in my plan, I have you to present your sprint update at the beginning of the sprint 2 so that you can share with me what has happened in sprint 1 and then what has happened again in sprint 2 and so on. Okay, so sprint review is the meeting. The team demonstrate to the product owner what has completed during the sprint, and if the product owner is happy or giving review feedback and so on. Sprint retrospective. So back to the ballpoint game. Actually, at the very end, we did a retrospective to learn from the lessons, learn from the mistake, learn from the good practices, learn from the both good and bad, right? So that is the what is expected to be done in the retrospective. The whole team, okay, the meeting with the whole team to analyze what to improve, to review the performance of the team, and to know what can be done better. So actually those burn up, burn down, and so on, we will do at the end of the sprint as well. Okay, I will not talk about this now. I will, this coming Wednesday, I will continue on some of this, but I will need to let you read this whole thing and plan with the team. Okay, now you have the team within today afternoon. I will send in the classroom as well. We'll send through the classroom after we update the product owner contact information for each, so that you can, but what you have to do, you need to call for a meeting, right? You cannot just go to the product owner unplanned, right? You need to know your self-availability, what to plan, how you plan things, to do things together. And remember, we used to talk about requirement elicitation. Now you are going to understand more of the requirements from the product owner. So I believe that you should have internal team meeting on that. List the questions or agree on the role. Who be the asker, or you list all questions together, who will ask, who will take notes, and so on, right? Otherwise, things could be a chaos. So be systematic and well planned. And so that you don't waste your time, not waste, but you learn, of course. Every time you do things, it's part of the learning. But maybe the product owner doesn't have 24 hours for you, right? He has limited time. So if you plan well, you will be able to spend the most time for yourself and from the product owner too, and so on. Okay. So the thing you will have to accomplish for sure as part of the project, I'm not expecting that every team will really do a real development on the details. right? But first, you surely need to understand the requirements, make proper requirement modeling, do some initial design. Okay, could be database design, UI design, whatever design, or model the system design, model the requirements, the interactivity of the data within the system and so on. Okay, so more or less we will focus on the design aspects and some of the maybe mock-up design, which is fine. No need to make a real implementation of a working software. Okay, and another goal is to make use of agile or project management techniques to manage your project and work in your project. Okay, the real hands or the real working practice of agile and Scrum. So that is why you need to plan your sprint. But before you can really know the requirements, I believe your sprint planning will not be the way the real sprint planning is, right? But you may need to plan the time, the thing together first before you can really have this real sprint planning. Okay, but another request, another kind of homework is go through this slide. So next time we continue, and then make sure you can make appointments, and even better, really meet with your product owner. So you get to understand the scope well. And I think you may need to have some expected commitment somehow. For example, when you do a meeting among the friends, the groups, how much time you think you can allocate to work on this project? Otherwise, I mean, some of these things, right, has to be explicit and clear. For a good and real management, imagine you are working professionally in a real setting. You don't want to just guess. I will put 2 hours, but you keep it in your 2 hours daily, and you would expect the others to contribute the same or what. But if you really want things to be clear, say it and agree with it among the whole members. Okay, so it makes team working in a healthy manner and understandable manner. Okay, all right, so anything for any other thing we should discuss now? Any question so far? Okay, so there will be 2 sets of slides, Scrum and then activities. Let me see, where is it? That I want you to read, and then next time we will discuss and complete them. This slide 2, the project management skill, it will focus on the main ceremony, how to do it properly. Okay, so that when you actually know your project detail better and plan your sprint better, so we will recap on this, and then you follow how to do your proper Scrum and Agile method of your project. Okay, and keep in mind, as I said, even your project is not completely software development, technology can always apply. Even it's about to plan together requirements from the user. You can still put it in the product backlog, right? It's the backlog. Meeting with customer for 1 hour today, 2 hours tomorrow, working on use case diagram, designing the sequence diagram, class diagram, this and that. These are all the works that you have to do. And you have to manage across the whole members. They don't need to be just coding to be in the Scrum backlog. In the product backlog, it can be any kind of work. Analysis, design, modeling, making diagram, making presentation to the user, demonstrate to the PO, and so on. All these things are real work as part of the project. So put them there in your product backlog when you plan with the team. Okay. Okay. So I hope you enjoy having the very first team meeting and then meeting with the product owner. Okay. And see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.